I died choking on my own blood in the back of a black SUV. My brother's hand steady on the wheel as he drove us off that rain-slicked bridge into the Hudson. His voice calm as he said, "This is for the family. Annie, your mess ends tonight." The water rushed in cold and black, pulling me under while he swam free, leaving me to drown with the weight of our shared secrets pressing down like anchors. But death isn't the end, it's a goddamn reset button. And when I gasped awake in my old Brooklyn loft 3 years earlier, heart pounding like a war drum, I knew the universe had handed me a loaded gun, and this time, I'd pull the trigger without mercy. The alarm clock buzzed like a hornet on my nightstand, the same cheap plastic one I'd smashed 100 times in my first life. I bolted upright, sheets tangled around my legs, sweat soaking through my tank top. My reflection in the cracked mirror across the room stared back, 25-year-old Annabelle Hayes, wide-eyed and alive, with the faint scar from that childhood bike crash still pink on my cheek. Not the bloated, broken 30-year-old corpse they'd fished out of the river. Holy shit. It was real. The betrayal. The crash. The Forbes article that painted me as the villain even in death. It all flooded back in Technicolor horror. I stumbled to the bathroom, splashing water on my face. But the memories clung like damp rot. In my first go-round, I'd built Hayes Innovations from a garage startup into a tech darling, AI-driven supply chain software that could have revolutionized retail. But the board turned on me. My brother Ethan leaked proprietary code to competitors. And my parents? They called that family meeting not to save me, but to stage a coup.
Dad,
the silver-tongued venture capitalist, had whispered in investors' ears about my instability.
Mom,
ever the socialite, spread rumors of my pill habit, lies that stuck like tar. And Ethan, my golden boy little brother, fresh out of Wharton, he'd been the knife in my back all along, siphoning funds into his own slush fund while I burned out trying to fix the leaks. The Forbes piece dropped a week after the meeting, titled "The Fall of Annabelle Hayes: How One Woman's Ambition Drowned a Dynasty." It quoted anonymous sources, my own blood, calling me reckless, a liability. By then, the lawsuits were piling up, the stock tanked, and I'd popped one too many Xanax chasing sleep. That's when Ethan suggested the drive. To clear your head, sis. The bridge. The splash. His escape. And in the aftermath, he inherited it all, turning Hayes into his empire while the world mourned the tragic loss of a flawed pioneer.
But now, fuck that.
I was back. 3 years to the day before the meeting. My company teetering but salvageable. My phone lit up with a text from Mom. Family dinner night. 7 p.m. Dad's office. We need to talk about the business. Love you. Love you. The words twisted in my gut like barbed wire. I gripped the sink, knuckles white, staring at my reflection until it blurred. This time, I'd play their game, smile, nod, let them think they had the upper hand. But I'd unearth every buried skeleton, every whispered deal, and when the Forbes ink dried on my terms, it'd be their obituaries in the obits. I dressed in my armor, slim black jeans, a crisp white blouse untucked just enough to say effortless, and the red leather jacket I'd bought on impulse after landing my first investor. No makeup. Let them see the exhaustion in my eyes. The real kind from 90-hour weeks. Not the fabricated burnout they'd peddle later. The loft smelled of stale coffee and unwashed ambition. Stacks of code printouts and empty Red Bull cans littering the kitchen counter. I grabbed my laptop, the one with the encrypted drive holding the original algorithms, and headed out into the gray December drizzle of Brooklyn. The subway rattled me toward Midtown, faces blurring past like ghosts from a life unlived. At 14th Street, a street vendor hawked knockoff Rolexes, and I almost laughed. Time really was money, and I just bought myself a 3-year loan. Stepping off at Grand Central, I wove through the holiday crush, the air thick with pretzel salt and desperation. Dad's office loomed in a glass tower on 57th, all chrome and ego, the kind of place that screamed old money laundering new ideas. The elevator dinged, and there was Sarah, Dad's assistant, all Botox smiles and clipboard efficiency. Annabelle, right on time. Your family's already inside. Family. The words soured on my tongue. I nodded, forcing a grin. Wouldn't miss it.
Sarah.
Pass the smelling salts if things get heated. She chuckled nervously, ushering me into the conference room. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the skyline like a postcard from hell, Empire State glowing defiant against the storm clouds. At the head of the table sat Dad, William Hayes, 62, and still cutting a figure in his tailored Brooks Brothers suit, silver hair slicked back like a Wall Street wolf.
Mom.
Lydia, perched beside him, pearls gleaming against her cashmere sweater, flipping through a tablet with manicured nails. And Ethan, God, 22-year-old Ethan, boyish charm masking the serpent, lounged at the far end, scrolling his phone, legs kicked up like he owned the joint. Annie, Mom rose, air kissing my cheeks. You look tired.
Seat.
Sit. Her eyes flicked to the shadows under mine, already cataloging ammunition. Dad cleared his throat. All boardroom gravitas. Thanks for coming on short notice.
Kiddo.
We've got concerns about Hayes Innovations. The latest burn rate report, it's bleeding cash. Investors are jittery. Ethan glanced up, smirking just enough to needle. Yeah.
Cease.
That last pitch deck felt like you were selling snake oil. What's the play here? I slid into my seat, heart hammering but face serene. Play their game.
Annabelle.
Let them talk. Straight to the point.
Huh?
Love the family efficiency. I cracked open my laptop, pulling up the dashboards, red ink everywhere. Supply chain glitches from rushed code. Clients jumping ship to cheaper knockoffs. In my first life, this is where I'd crumbled, defending every line item like a drowning woman clutching driftwood. Mom leaned in, voice honeyed poison. We're not attacking,
Darling.
we're worried.
You've poured your soul into this. But
Maybe it's time to pivot. Bring in fresh eyes. Ethan's got ideas from Wharton, disruptive stuff. Ethan nodded. All false modesty. Nothing major. Just streamlining ops. Maybe divest some IP. I ran the numbers. We could flip the AI core for a quick infusion. Flip the AI core. The words hit like a gut punch. That was his move in round one, selling my life's work to a VC firm he secretly partnered with, pocketing a 7-figure finder's fee while I watched the company gutted. I forced a laugh. Light and brittle.
bold.
Little bro. But that core's the heart of it. Without it, we're just another app factory. Dad steepled his fingers, the diamond cufflinks catching the light. Annabelle, be realistic. You're 25, burning the candle at both ends. We've got connections, old money that could bail you out. But they want assurances. Stability. Stability. Code for control. I met his gaze, seeing the calculation there, the same one that had signed my death warrant. Assurances like, what? Dad? A board seat for you? Mom handling PR? A flicker, guilt? Or just annoyance? We're family, he said, voice dropping an octave. This isn't about power. It's about legacy. Legacy. The word echoed, laced with a splash of river water in my ears. I glanced at Ethan, who was texting under the table, thumbs flying. Who was on the other end? In my memories, it was his buddy at the rival firm, the one who'd bought the leaked code. But I couldn't tip my hand yet. Not when the hook was barely set. Fine, I said, closing the laptop with a snap that echoed like a gunshot. Let's talk legacy. What's the proposal? Exactly. They launched in restructuring plans, equity swaps, Ethan's consulting role. I nodded, interjecting just enough to seem engaged, my mind racing ahead. Buried in the server farms back at the loft were logs I'd overlooked before, access timestamps, IP traces. Ethan had been in the code repo months ago. Subtle changes that snowballed into the glitches. And Mom? Her charity galas had been networking sessions with my competitors, dropping hints about my erratic leadership. By the time dessert arrived, tiramisu from that overpriced Italian place down the block, the meeting wrapped with handshakes and hugs. Promises of follow-ups. Ethan clapped my shoulder on the way out. Chin up, Annie. We'll fix this. Team Hayes. Right? Team Hayes. I smiled, teeth gritted. Always.
F.
Night. Fam. Back on the subway. The adrenaline crashed, leaving me hollow. I pulled up my phone, fingers trembling as I drafted an email to my sysadmin. Audit all repo access from the last 6 months.
Urgent.
NDA attached. Then, a burner app for anonymous tips to a freelance journalist I remembered from the Forbes fallout, someone hungry for a scoop on family feuds in tech. Sleep evaded me that night, the loft's thin walls amplifying the city's pulse. I paced, replaying the meeting, dissecting every micro-expression. Dad's averted eyes when IP came up. Mom's too quick laugh at Ethan's jokes. They thought I was the weak link, the dreamer who'd crack under pressure. But death had forged me in fire. This Annabelle was steel-wrapped rage. Dawn broke gray, and I was at my desk by 6, diving into the code. Lines blurred into accusations. A backdoor here, a diverted transaction there. Ethan's fingerprints everywhere, sloppy in his arrogance. By noon, the audit pinged back, logs confirming late-night commits from his dorm IP. Jackpot. But proof wasn't enough. It was ammunition. I needed allies. First call, Jax, my ex-co-founder, the quiet genius who'd bailed after the first investor pullout. Annie, holy shit, you sound alive. What's up, Jax? I need you back. Full equity restore. And your eyes on some anomalies. I forwarded the logs, holding my breath. A pause. Then, this looks like sabotage. Who's got the balls? My brother. Long story. You in? For you? Hell yes. But we do it clean. No scandals till we have ironclad.
Clean. Right.
But cleanliness was for the living. I was playing for blood. The week blurred into a frenzy of back-channel deals and shadowed meetings. I met Jax in a dingy Williamsburg cafe, hoods up against the prying eyes of tech bros. He pored over the code, muttering curses. This is an error.
Annie.
It's engineered failure. Subtle. but it'll tank projections by Q2. Q2. That's when the real hemorrhaging started in my first life. Can we reverse it? Without tipping them. He grinned. Feral. Reverse engineer their poison. Turn it into our venom. Our venom. I like the sound. Next. The journalist Lena Voss. Chain-smoking firebrand from Wired. We met in a dive bar off Times Square. Her notebook scarred from 1,000 scoops. Hayes family drama? Color me intrigued. But I need meat, not rumors. I slid her a USB with redacted logs. Start with this. Ethan's siphoning. More coming. Off record for now. She pocketed it, eyes gleaming. You know this could nuke your empire? My empire's already ashes. I'm rebuilding on their bones. Lena arched a brow.
Dark. Haze.
I like it. Forbes bait. For sure.
Forbes.
The magic word. In my death, it had buried me. In this life, it had resurrected me as the avenging angel. But cracks formed fast. Mom called midweek. Voice laced with concern. Annie. Darling. Ethan's worried. Says you're shutting him out of emails. What's going on? Protecting the IP?
Mom.
You understand, family first, right?
A beat.
Of course. But don't shut us out. We're all in this. All in this.
Lies.
I hung up.
Bilirsin.
That night, I tailed Ethan from his Wharton mixer, subway to a sleek Soho loft. Not his dorm. He slipped inside, and through the blinds, I caught a glimpse. A woman, mid-30s. All sharp suits and sharper smiles. Carla Ruiz. My nemesis from the rival firm. The one who'd bought the code. Their laughter carried on the wind.
Intimate.
My fists clenched. Incestuous betrayal, brother and corporate whore. Plotting my downfall over champagne. I snapped photos with my phone. Timestamps glowing like accusations. Evidence mounting. A noose tightening. The next family check-in loomed. Dad's yacht off the Hamptons. A weekend retreat masked as bonding. Invitation via engraved card. Hayes family regatta. Let's sail into smoother waters. Smoother waters. If they only knew I'd drag them under. I packed light. Laptop. Encrypted drive. A bottle of bourbon for the nerves. Jax texted en route. Reversals in progress. Projections flipping green by Monday. Good. Lena followed up. Sources confirming Ruiz ties. Digging deeper. The yacht bobbed like a fat white whale in the marina. Crew polishing brass under the summer sun. Mom waved from the deck. Gin fizz in hand. Annie, come aboard. Ethan's manning the sails. Ethan, ropes in hand, flashed that boy next door grin. Hop on.
Sis.
I'll show you how it's done. I boarded. Stomach churning. The engine hummed to life, carrying us out past the buoys into open water. Dad at the helm. Wind whipping his tie. Nothing like the sea to clear the mind.
Clear the mind.
Or drown secrets. We motored to a secluded cove, anchoring amid billionaire toys, sleek catamarans, and super yachts dwarfing ours. Lunch was lobster rolls and Chardonnay. Conversations skirting the business like mines in a field. Then Ethan steered it there, casual as a shark fin breaking surface. So,
Annie.
About that audit you kicked off. Kinda overkill. Don't you think? We're family, no need for paranoia. Paranoia. The word ignited something primal. I set down my glass, meeting his eyes blue like mine, but his held no depth, just reflection. Paranoia? Or prudence? Leaks are killing us. Someone's got to plug him. Mom tittered.
Oh. Boys, yeah.
Siblings. Let's not spoil the vibe. Dad nodded. Ever the mediator. Annabelle's right. Security's key. But Ethan, your insights, share 'em. Open book. Open book. Irony dripped like salt water. Ethan leaned back, arms crossed.
Fine.
My take? The core's bloated. Sell it off. Reinvest in blockchain pivots. I know a buyer, solid, discreet. Carla Ruiz. The photos burned in my pocket. A buyer?
Huh.
Anyone we know? A flicker, too quick for Dad to catch. Just contacts. Nothing shady. I smiled. Slow and sharp.
Good.
Because shady's what sank the last venture I trusted. The air thickened. Sails flapping like warning flags. Mom changed the subject to Hampton's gossip, affairs, bankruptcies, but the seed was planted. That night, bunked in the guest cabin, I hacked Ethan's phone via a phishing link Jax whipped up. Texts poured in, deals on. Hayes IP for $5 million.
Keep sis in dark.
To Carla, miss you. Tonight, vomit rose. Incestuous didn't cover it. Adultery to my legacy. I forwarded copies to Lena, adding, pull the trigger. Sunday dawned bloody, sunrise painting the waves crimson. Over coffee, Dad pulled me aside on the foredeck. Annie, level with me. You seem different. Harder. Death does that.
Dad.
Just focused. This company's my blood. Won't let it bleed out.
He sighed.
Hand on my shoulder, warm. Paternal.
A lie.
Proud of you. But ease up on Ethan. Kid's got potential. Needs guidance. Guidance. Like the kind that drove me off a bridge? I'll try. Family first. We docked by noon. The city skyline a jagged promise. Back in Brooklyn. The reversals hit. Projections greenlit. Clients re-signing. Jax hooped over video. You're a phoenix. Hayes. Phoenix. Or demon. Monday. I called a press conference, unannounced.
Raw.
Reporters crammed my loft-turn studio. Cameras flashing like paparazzi strobes. Hayes Innovations isn't failing, I declared. Voice steady as steel. It's evolving. Sabotage attempts uncovered. But we're stronger. Watch this space. Whispers rippled. Lena's piece dropped that afternoon. Insider sabotage at Hayes Tech. Family ties tested? Quotes anonymized. But Ethan's dorm IP leaked just enough to sting. Panic hit the family chat. Mom, what is this? Dad. Annabelle. Call me now. Ethan, you bitch.
Bitch.
The word fueled me. I ignored them, diving into the kill shot. With Jax, we traced the siphon funds, offshore accounts in Ethan's name, funneled through Mom's charity shell. Dad, his VC firm had shorted our stock pre-crash. Insider trading goldmine. The evidence dossier swelled. Emails, transfers, photos of Ethan and Carla in flagrante. I met Lena in Central Park, bench under the Bethesda fountain, pigeons scattering like fleeing rats. It's biblical, she said, scanning the files. Betrayal porn. Forbes will eat it up, but you sure? This torches bridges. Bridges. Like the one I died on.
Torcem.
I'm building my own. The counterattack launched midweek. Ethan cornered me outside an investor meet in Chelsea. Rain sheeting down like judgment. What the fuck?
Any?
That article, it's suicide.
Suicide.
The irony choked me. I stepped close. Umbrella forgotten. Water streaming down my face. Suicide? That's your specialty. Little bro. Remember the bridge? Oh wait, you do. You planned it. His face strained white. Eyes darting. What? You're crazy. I shoved the phone in his face. Carla texts glowing. Crazy? Or clairvoyant? Your buyer's waiting. But this time, the leak's on you. He lunged, grabbing my wrist, hard enough to bruise. You don't know shit. Back off. Or what? Drown me again. The word slipped. A ghost of futures past. He froze. Realization dawning like horror.
You're
insane. But his voice cracked. Fear bleeding through. I yanked free. Hailing a cab. Tell mom and dad hi. Family meetings over. Home. The loft felt like a war room. Whiteboards scrawled with timelines. Coffee dripped into veins. Jax burst in at midnight.
Laptop hot.
We got him. Blockchain pivot ready. Your original vision. Fortified. Patents filed under your name only. Mine only.
No hayas daí neste instante.
I hugged him. Rare vulnerability cracking. Thanks.
Jax.
For believing. He pulled back. Serious. Always did.
Now.
The big play. The big play. A shareholder vote. Rigged in my favor with proxy allies I'd courted in secret.
Dawn called to Dad. Meeting.
My office. Noon. His voice. Strained. Annabelle. This has gone too far. Ethan's devastated. Devastated. Like I wasn't.
Noon.
Or the SEC gets the shorts first. The tower loomed. My rented space on the 40th. Temporary. But mine. They arrived en masse. Dad stone-faced. Mom tear-streaked. Ethan sullen in a hoodie. Sarah buzzed them up. Her loyalty bought with a bonus. I stood at the window. City at my feet. Sit. They did. Tension thick as fog. What's this about? Dad demanded. Legacy, I said, echoing his yacht words. I fired up the projector, slides of logs. Transfers. Texts. Ethan's affair. Mom's shells. Dad's shorts. Mom gasped. Annabelle.
No.
Yes. I turned. Voice ice. You called the meeting to fix my failing business. But it wasn't failing, it was being murdered. By family. Ethan bolted up. Lies. You're framing me. Framing? Like you framed me for the leaks? The pills? The instability? Dad's face crumpled. Kiddo. We thought you were spiraling. For your own good. My own good? Or your portfolio's? I hit play on the audio, lifted from Ethan's phone. Him bragging to Carla, Sis's toast. Bridge'll seal it. Clean getaway. Silence shattered like glass. Mom sobbed. Ethan? No. He sneered.
Konrad.
Prove it. Hearsay. I slid the dossier across.
Prove?
It's all here. And Lena's got copies. Forbes drops tomorrow. The Hayes betrayal. Blood.
Code.
and corporate murder. Dad's hand trembled on the table. Annabelle.
Why?
Why? Laughter bubbled.
Bitter.
Because you killed me. Not the crash, the betrayal. The whispers, the coup. I died, choking on your love. Twist of the knife. Mom's eyes widened. Died? What are you? Metaphor. I lied smooth. But close enough. Ethan lunged again. But Dad restrained him. Enough, son. If this is true, it is. I cut in. Resignations.
Now.
Or indictments follow. Mom wailed. We can fix this. Therapy. Retreat. No fixes. You broke it. I signed the papers Jack slid over. Ethan's equity stripped. Mom's boards dissolved. Dad's shorts confessed to the SEC. They left broken. Ethan cursing. Mom clinging to Dad. Who met my eyes one last time? Regret? Or calculation? The door clicked shut. A guillotine fall. Alone. I collapsed into my chair.
Sobs racking.
Victory tasted like ash, family eviscerated. But mine. Jax poured bourbon. You did it. Annie. Did I? The phone buzzed. Lena. Forbes greenlit. Cover story. You're the survivor queen. Survivor. Not quite. But close. Months blurred. Hayes soared. AI core unbreakable. Clients flocking. Valuation tripling. Forbes hit. Annabelle Hayes. From family ashes to tech phoenix. No villains named. Settlements sealed lips. But the subtext screamed. Ethan vanished to Europe. Therapy abroad. Mom sold the Hamptons house. Faded to galas. Dad? Retired. Ghost of boardrooms.
Me?
I stood on my loft balcony. Brooklyn lights winking like conspirators. Jack's proposed partnership real. Equal. Lena became friend. Not source. But nights. The river whispered. Was it enough? Revenge healed nothing. Just scarred over. One dawn. A letter arrived. Dad's scrawl. Forgive? Legacy's yours now.
Love.
Always. Love. I burned it. Ashes scattering on the wind. Legacy wasn't blood, it was code. Unbreakable. And in the quiet, I breathed, alive. Unbroken. The end? Or just the reboot?